all women is dope.
Women celebrating and loving their bodies is dope.
Saying having a vagina, menstruating, getting pregnant, having breasts, make someone a woman or part of womanhood is wrong and violent.
Your body does not make you a woman. Your energy and spirit do. With that being said, now we can begin. On January 4th, Misha Caldwell was killed in Canton, Mississippi. She was 41 years old.
Sorry, it's windy. All right. On January 8th, 28-year-old Jamie Lee Wounded Arrow was killed in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
On February 8th, 23-year-old JoJo Stryker was killed in Toledo, Ohio.
On February 18th, 18-year-old Jaquarius Holland was killed in Monroe, Louisiana.
On February 22nd, 24-year-old Kiki Collier, also known as Tierra Richmond, was killed in Chicago, Illinois.
On February 25th, 31-year-old China Gibson, aka China Doll Dupree, was killed in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh shit, okay. All of the women that we have listed, 2 days later. 2 days later, on February 27th, 25-year-old Sierra McElvian was also killed in the same place, New Orleans, Louisiana.
All the women we have listed happen to be trans women of color, but this is no coincidence.
Every year, trans women of color are killed in disproportionate rates, especially black trans women. 6 out of the 7 people that we mentioned are black women. 1 of them is indigenous.
When we talk about trans rights, we can't only talk about rights, but justice. It's important to emphasize justice because not only does it aim for laws and policies that provide access for marginalized communities, but also highlights respecting and censoring marginalized beings, especially those with marginalized intersectional identities. The bathroom conversation and the death of trans women have become the focus in mainstream news. Yes, it is extremely important to emphasize these things, like the bathroom conversation, for example, because black youth are already targeted disproportionately in our educational institutions. For example, black youth are 4 to 6 times higher than that of white children to face suspension, be perceived as more hostile, aggressive, and suspicious, even though they're no different from other fucking children. So when you have conversations about policing trans folk, simply using the restroom and them possibly getting in trouble for doing so, where does that leave black trans youth?
Let us not forget the school to prison pipeline. Who will be the first black trans girl arrested over this and sent to a boys or men's center? Who will be the first victim of police brutality over this? Bathroom laws are not about bathrooms, they are potentially life or death. These are words spoken by black trans queer Twitter user AdamantXEvolve. And like we stated earlier, trans women of color, especially black trans women, are killed at very high rates. The average lifespan for trans women in the United States is the age of 35, and the number becomes around 30 years old for black trans women.
We also have to recognize their being in life, support and fight with them for their liberation. This helps to create safe spaces generally, because by recognizing, supporting, censoring, and celebrating their beings, we deconstruct transphobic rhetoric that aims to erase their stories, contributions, and lives. And we inevitably replace the spaces that make this rhetoric thrive by having these conversations and fighting for trans justice.
If you are not transgender, you have a responsibility to eradicate the trans antagonistic violence that harms our siblings every day, and to emotionally, physically, and financially support trans folks so that they are not struggling to survive in this world and are actually thriving, rightfully so. In order to help y'all other cis folks out, we have helped curate a list that should be being distributed to you right now of trans folks of color who you can financially support by donating to their projects, organizations, surgery funds, PayPals, and GoFundMes for survival, for example, for food and bills, etc. This will be an ongoing list online, but this printed out copy you will be receiving is at least a start for most of you. And in saying this, we identify as cis women and recognize that we have to continuously hold ourselves accountable to use our privilege to dismantle white supremacy that includes and upholds cis sexism and other oppressive systems. Also, to just add, with this list, we do hold ourselves accountable as able-bodied people because we realized right before this that we did not put the list in Comic Sans, and if you do know about the font Comic Sans, then it is more accessible for those with dyslexia. So we do apologize for that, and we hold ourselves accountable. So we apologize, and if you need us to send you the copy because we did not print out enough, or we didn't know how many people it's going to be, just see us after.
Also want to thank Carly for giving us that reminder about the Comic Sans. Thank you, Carly. All right. So additionally, to let y'all know, Tay and I were actually very fucking hesitant to speak here today because we were confident that this was going to be full of whitewashed, cis bullshit, especially after viewing the results of the Women's March in Washington, D.C. and other locations on January 21st of this year. As y'all may know, white women reminded people of color that what white feminism looks like. Get the fuck ready for what I'm about to say. So, from the transphobic, ugly-ass pink pussy hats that essentialize womanhood to vulva and vaginas, to the fetishization of indigenous folks through comments of look at their costumes, to solely taking pictures of them without permission or care for their actual cause and culture, to making fun of people of color, emphasizing their cultures, to tone policing people of color conversations, chants, and songs, to the bragging of the police presence being peaceful without consideration of the feelings of people of color, and that white women are protected against police brutality by their fucking whiteness.
On this day, let us leave you with a few reminders. White women, you are a significant reason of why Trump became president, whether you actually voted for him or not. It was 53% of y'all. Woo! Whereas 94% of black women tried to save us because we knew. So remember, on this day, especially where we are celebrating women, we need to center the most marginalized and vulnerable groups of women and femmes within our communities and internationally. Be mindful of intersectional marginalized experiences and beings and make sure that they are not silenced or erased.
Assalamu alaikum. May peace be upon you and have a black day.